So thank you again for joining me on this interview, Sheldon. It's really a
Sure, no
pleasure to
problem.
have you here. You are one of the most experienced young Toastmasters in terms of club office experience. And I just wanted to have this interview to share with other Toastmasters, especially the new ones, about the club office experience. So we're just going to have a little chat, nothing in depth. You are table topics master, so the questions not going to be difficult for you. It's really just to share your experience. And just to start off, I know your Toastmaster Sheldon Peer. Currently, you are the Vice President Public Relations.
Yeah,
But you were on the executive for the past, what, 4 years?
yeah, I think so. VP, yeah, VPPR, VP membership, VPL, and VPPR.
Okay, so you were VP Education last term, and then before
Yes,
that you were VP Membership,
and then VPPR.
and then VP PR before that. Oh, wow! So next up is President, I guess.
Uh, to be determined.
To be
One can't
determined.
tell the future.
Nobody can tell the future. Indeed, good answer. Spoken like a true table topics master. So you've been on the executive for 4 years. How long have you been a Toastmaster?
I joined Toastmasters just a few months before elections, and I was only mixed one time.
So as soon as you joined, took up the challenge, you became a club officer. And how was that though? Was it frightening? How was that experience?
Well, I think VPPR is not as challenging as compared to the other other. That's excuse
Bless you, sir. Bless you.
yeah.
We know sneezing
I,
is not a symptom of
yeah,
COVID, so yes, it's
yeah,
safe.
no, I safe, yeah. Uh, so VPPR is is not as challenging as the other portfolios or roles play in Toastmasters, and I believe being a journalist, it was something quite similar to what I do on a daily basis. Look
Okay.
at different things on the internet and look for topics to write on. So I saw it as a challenge, and I'll be searching the internet for new topics. This time was for table for Toastmasters.
Okay. Okay. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, well, serving is always a good experience, especially in Toastmasters where you can directly see the benefit. So it's no problem for me at all.
If you had to choose between VPPR, membership, and education, which one of these three would you like to do? If you were to choose to do over one right now, which one would you choose out of these three?
This might be the most challenging role in Toastmasters, the Vice President Education. I will do it over again. It was a challenge. Sometimes the membership during periods throughout the year, there may be despondent members or 1 or 2 months maybe slow person, slow because person may not be reacting or may not be as enthusiastic as previous months
Right.
to give speeches or play roles. But just the bare interaction of asking persons or finding new creative ways of designing meetings, speaking to persons, you become a lot more comprehensive, you become a lot more interactive because you're speaking to different sorts of persons and you can see people problems, you can see their issues, you can have discussions. So it help you. It becomes a lot more private, and you feel a sense of belonging in the club because you after playing the role of VP Ed,
Yeah.
I learned a lot more about my members
Okay.
because communication improved with my members after performing the role, and I thought I had a very creative way of designing meetings, not the usual regular meetings. We try to have meetings where persons work with props, costumes, or we use designs, or we selected themes for the meetings based on the season, based on the time of the year. So we try to be as creative as possible for all the meetings.
It seems like you had a lot of fun. I remember two meetings, the Mad Hatters Ball and the World Cup meeting as well.
Right, and then we had the carnival where you wear costumes. So we try to be as creative as possible. And what I saw is saw the even the older members were basically joining the younger members as they try to compete or in a friendly manner, of course,
Right.
for the different teams and whatnot. So I always try to lend my help where I can, and I always say as the VP pair, they should be a lot more creative, thinking outside of the box, and allowing your meeting to be as fluent, as creative, and as humorous as possible.
And that they were. I noticed you kept saying we. Was it that you had some help with the VPN? Did you like have a committee, official or unofficial, or would you recommend that?
Well, of course, as I said, it's quite challenging. If I am allowed to recommend, or if I should recommend, I would say that they should have at least three persons on the VPN committee. One person who will be sorting out the speakers or the roles for the meeting. One
Right.
person one person will be organizing the agenda, and one person could be the liaison basically between the members and the executive, because sometimes if you pair now by the response of getting persons to the roles or whatever the case may be, he or she will now determine what angle we should go with the meeting, or if the responses are slow, what could we do to boost the responses. So I think that three-man team should be good enough to run an effective VPN portfolio.
And that's very great advice indeed. I highly endorse that recommendation. Of course, the three people could always rotate to
Exactly, yeah.
encourage creativity as well. And just final thoughts. Would you encourage others, especially new members or even those who would have done the roles before, would you encourage them or would you not encourage them to take up
Yeah, well, A role or the VPN role?
any role, not necessarily VPN?
Yeah, well, VPN is quite challenging, so I would recommend that the person is quite experienced in Toastmasters or quite well in Toastmasters. We try to be as good as possible in terms of communication and interacting with persons. At the Talk To Club, we are very, very welcoming and friendly. So this shouldn't be a problem at our club. But in terms of dealing with persons, because it can be frustrating at times when you're trying to complete your agenda and persons are not coming forward, persons are not volunteering for roles, speakers are limited. But that's where your creativity comes in, because you can have a table topics meeting, you can have a guest speaker, you can have meetings where persons give their favorite speech. You can have meetings on all meetings on a specific team. You can have meetings on only humorous speeches. So you can look at a different angle. For the VPPR, I think from in this role, it changed a lot from the last 4 years when I was in the role in 2016, because we are seeing social media is having a even is having an even more interactive role
Okay.
in promoting our club, because for this year we had lots of conversations online with persons seeking interest of the club, which was far more than the previous 3 years, because I'm still an admin of the group, so I still post from time to time whenever I see something that is suitable for the page. So
Okay.
one thing I always would like to see is more visibility within the meetings. We saw that there were better quality pictures at the meetings, and when we posted it on Facebook, a lot of
And
persons,
we must thank you and Tessa for that, sorry. You all are the photo taker
yeah,
outers.
yeah. So we see the better quality photos and what benefit a proper quality photo of a person. They more willing to target self. You see persons using it as a profile picture. So when persons ask, "What were you doing here?" Or most time you see the banner behind, and it's easily visible that you can say it was Talk to Toastmasters. And one thing I would like to improve, and I've been asking for the last few years, if we should have some type of videotaping of the speeches and upload them, because people see with their eyes, and when they see the quality of speeches we have at TalkShoe, that will be the best tool to use to bring people into the club. When you see the quality of speeches, when you see person delivering different types of speeches, they can always relate to them and say, I would like to speak one day like this person. And that's how it begins.
That's
VP
very
membership is always a nice role because it's more of a welcoming role. When I was a VP membership, we began giving out invitation letters, booklets, and pamphlets for the guests to go home and read. And also, of course, we give a membership form
right.
because it's important to give the membership form. So sometimes when you're home and you open the folder and you see the membership form and you reminisce on what a good meeting it was, you may fill out the form one time.
Maybe we could put a bank deposit slip one time too.
Yeah, well, in this day and age, that's no problem, but you can always learn the information and they fill out whenever they see fit. But yeah, it's about welcoming and being as friendly as possible. And as I mentioned, TalkShoe is known for this. So it's quite easy for the VP membership to work.
Right.
However, we can always look at the various avenues apart from social media. In the past, there was one of the newspapers we had in the business. I believe in one of the section A papers, our meetings were advertised. So that's probably something we can look at again. We
Okay.
can look at we can also look at different various platforms to get our name out there, and which can only benefit the VP membership in welcoming new guests.
Okay, well, Children, you have anything you want to ask me or any final words for TalkShoe, Toastmasters, Abiru?
Well, I always welcome. I served on the executive as long as I'm a member. It's not that challenging, but it's important to have a good functioning team. It makes you work a lot easier. There were times where I must admit it was difficult during different parts of the year. Some persons may be busy, some persons weren't responding as they should, and it made me work even harder and other members. So you have to be mindful of yes, it's volunteer, but you put your name out there. You're doing it willingly. You said you're going to do it willingly and the best of your ability. So please, if you're trying to be an executive member, please do it to the best of your ability because you're representing your name, you're representing your family, your loved ones, and obviously you don't want to take up a role that you can't do. So I advise that you make some time for it. Is probably 2 days for the month, one for the meeting and one preparing, and depending on whatever your role is. So it's not difficult and it's beneficial because you can learn from the different roles. Different roles have different responsibilities, and you learn new things on each role. So it's a learning process for all the roles, and the sky's the limit what you can learn in the roles because you already see what you can learn by delivering speeches, preparing speeches, and having conversation with your mentor. So this is the other aspect of learning, the leadership aspect where you can learn any different roles.
I've spoken like a future president there, man. Thanks
Mhm.
again, Children, so much for your time. I really appreciate
No
it and
problem.
wish you all the best as the future president or in whatever endeavors you seek to do. I know that you may represent us in the national contest once it comes off. So wish you all the best in that as well.
Thank you very much.